First, let's give out a disclaimer. Everything that I am about to say is something that I am currently practicing and experiencing. I'm only talking from my own point of view based off of what I'm practicing, what I'm experiencing. With that being said, let's get into the video. Today, I want to talk about celibacy and abstinence and how these two things are different practice. I didn't know this. I recently got to know that there are two different practices, and I have been practicing one of it. After defining celibacy and talking to you guys about celibacy, and then defining abstinence and talking to you guys about abstinence, we're going to find out which one I'm practicing and why I fall under that one. And also talk about the experiences that I have had so far that have led to that particular decision of me practicing this, either celibacy or abstinence. Why am I practicing it? Because I'm somebody that really do enjoy having sex. To me, sex is really beautiful. That has to do with the activities that leads to sex, those attractions, those things. Everything about sex is beautiful and I enjoy practicing sex. But then I got to a point in my life where I decided to stay away from sex, and there was a reason why. So we're going to talk about the reason, okay? So let's start from what is celibacy and what is abstinence. Recently, it was brought to my knowledge that celibacy is a religious practice. So it is coming from a religious point of view where you take a vow. You consciously take a vow in the presence of God and any other person that is there. You take a vow to stay away from sex and every other sexual related activity. So no kissing, no touching, no. In fact, even your mind is supposed to be clear from sex. That is the vow. So you dedicate your life to whatever it is that you're doing and take this vow that you are not going to associate or practice sexual activity, and that is celibacy. So the only people that can take this particular vow are people that are religious or people that practice religion. These are the people that can take this vow, because this involves you, standing in the presence of God and in the presence of whosoever is there, whichever religious institute that you choose or that you're practicing, just taking this vow consciously. Why abstaining from sex is you just staying away from sex for a particular given time. Not even all. You might be staying away from penetration and still indulge in some of these sexual activities like kissing and stuff, but then abstaining from sex, like abstaining from actually having like sex, maybe oral, maybe just abstaining from the practice itself, but then you can do touchy, you can hug, cuddle, those things. That's abstaining, okay? And you do not need to take a vow. When it comes to abstaining, it's something that you're doing for a while, maybe because you want to focus, or maybe because you want to use your energy for something, or maybe just there's so many reasons why people abstain from sex. Maybe they don't find their fellow humans attractive anymore, or maybe they went through a trauma that has scarred them for life, where they don't longer want to have sex, or everything that has to do with sex irritates them. Maybe we can never tell. But then this particular practice, which is abstinence, has nothing to do with you taking a vow. So you're not consciously saying, God, I come before you and this is it, I am gonna stay away from sex, and just you don't do any of this. You just subconsciously or consciously stay away from sex, like stay away from sex for a reason, and that's abstinence. Now that I am done defining this two, I'm going to talk to you guys about which one I am practicing, which is abstinence. So recently I got to understand that I am actually not a celibate, because I haven't been religious for 6 to 7 years. I haven't been religious, okay? So right now I do not practice religion. So I didn't consciously take a vow to stay away from sex. I didn't do any of those, God, I didn't do that, because I've not been religious, and I've been practicing abstinence for 2 to 3 years, or let's say 3 to 4 years. You see, I did not take any vows, so I'm not a celibate. I used to say I was a celibate until I found out that celibacy has to do with you consciously taking a vow before God, and I did no such thing. I just consciously, yes, I consciously started staying away from sex. I am not staying away from other sexual activities. I have kissed in between the years where I haven't had sex. I have, hugged somebody, cuddled somebody, but then I haven't had sex. So that is abstaining. And I'm doing this consciously because I recently realized that I wanted to change a certain aspect of my life, and I needed my head to be clear emotionally, mentally, and to do that, I have to stay away from sex. I'm a female, like I'm a woman, I'm a lady, I'm a girl, and the way we are designed, we easily get attached, especially through sex. So the more sex I have with people, the more attached I become, with them. And I needed my head to be clear. I needed my mind to be clear. I wanted to be able to focus, think straight, and use those energies for something other than, having this attachment to people. And for that reason, I started staying away from sex. And it was not like a full process. It was like gradually cutting down on the amount of sex I have until I stopped having sex in general. So you see, I fall under the practice of abstaining because I have been abstaining from sex, but then in between the years where I've been abstaining, I have kissed somebody, and the more I have this moments where I get to meet somebody and we are becoming like emotionally attached, the more I start to see reason why abstaining was good for me, because I realize how easily it is for me to now get attached to this person. And I am somebody that once I start getting attached, it fucks up with my focus. It fucks up with because I am very emotional. I am I'm very soft, okay? So little things, especially when I am not attached to the person, little things will set me off. And I didn't want to be in that headspace. I wanted my headspace to be positive, to be free, no baggage, no emotional attachment, or no mental, emotional, nothing. Okay, so that's why I made a decision to abstain from sex. And this is coming from somebody that really enjoys sex. Like, I enjoy the practice of sex. I see sex as a very beautiful thing. If you're somebody that's from the period where you started having sex and you enjoy this practice, you're going to realize that it is a beautiful thing. From the kissing to the touching to the penetration, the passion that comes with it, that attraction. It's a very beautiful thing that comes with this rush of emotion that is very addictive. And I have been there. I have enjoyed the experience. But for me to be able to change certain aspects of my life, I needed to, sacrifice sex, to be able to get to where I want to be, emotionally, mentally, physically. And that is why I fall under abstaining. I feel like that last part, this last thing I just said, was supposed to be the beginning of why I decided to make this decision. So that was supposed to be the beginning. But anyways, now we're done with celibacy and abstaining. Why did I make this choice? From someone that really enjoys sex. Why this? Why was this like my last resort? I'm going to start by saying that most of us do not know that sexual energy is a very strong energy. We do not know this, and nobody is to be blamed, because I too do not know this, and I don't blame myself. I was not taught. Knowing about sexual energy and how strong this particular energy is, not just the creation of life, because it is only through sexual energy that a life can come to this earth, right? So not just for the creation of life, but for the creation of other aspect of life, which is not the birth, but the birth of your mental states, your emotional states. Like, there are other things that sexual energy can be used for. It's an energy that is strong enough to move you from one reality to another. And like I said, this is something that I am practicing and it is working. Okay, so I wouldn't come here and talk about something that I am not seeing. I've been seeing how my reality has been changing steady just because I was able to harness, or I was able to like control my sexual energy. Sexual energy is very strong. It's an energy that can transform whatever that you want it to transform. It's an energy that can birth different things. Like, the energy is so strong. You can use this energy to attract whatever you want to attract. And that is something that I did not know. So I grew up not knowing what sexual energy really was. And not onto the point where I started seeing the effects. I started seeing the effect on my life, and which led me into the rabbit hole of making research and just trying to understand what is happening to me and what is happening to my life and how I can better my life. But now that you know what sexual energy is and how important it is in creating the life that you want or the reality that you want, I was exposed to sex at a very young age, not having sex, but knowing what sex is. I wasn't molested, and thank God for that, because that's something that I realized that so many people went through. So many people were molested, and that's how they got exposed to sex. So, no, I was not molested. I actually wanted to know about sex, and I found out about sex, and at a very young age. I was a child that was very curious, and anything I see I want to know, and so I think it started from when we were all based in Benue. I was looking at one uncle, the way he was carrying girls, and then I was like, what is this uncle always doing with these girls? To get like, what's this uncle always doing with these girls? And me and some group of kids started peeping through the uncle's door just to understand what he does with these girls. And long story short, we got to find out one day. And having that particular knowledge about sex, I grew up knowing what sex really was, but then I did not have sex until I was 20 because of the way I got exposed to sex, which is something I was curious about. I grew up making more like trying to know more about sex. So every time I have new friends, I ask questions. Every time I'm watching a movie, I try to, at a very young age, I try to understand what people are doing. And at a very young age, I got to realize that sex has to do more with emotions. Like, people do not know this, but it has to do more with emotions. Now, it can be emotions that, like, urge is emotion. It's a type of emotion, right? So it can be any type of emotion, but sex has to do with emotion. So I realized at a very young age that sex has to do with emotions. And at a very young age already, I know how emotion can, I don't know how I knew this, but I knew how emotion can mess people up. And then from the teachings I was getting from the religion that I was practicing at that time, where they always warn you about sex and how it was a thing to God and stuff, I just knew that, okay, I wasn't going to have it until I was ready, to have it. So I wanted to be in the right mind frame. I wanted everything to be like before I have sex. So I waited till I became 20. Till I was 20. I waited. Within that years where I was waiting, like before 20, at a very young age, I was already making out with guys. Like, I was kissing at the age of 14 or 15. I was already kissing guys, having crush, having these emotions. Those emotion comes with puberty, when you are going from a girlhood to the ladyhood, from a girl that was innocent and then to a girl that sees her period monthly, breasts and stuff. So when I was transitioning to that stage, I already started liking boys. Okay, I was already getting this particular butterflies, with guys. And did I mention that I grew up in a home of girls? So I already see my sisters before me, because I'm the third. I have two elder sisters. I already see them, with crushes, where the ones that are crushing on them sending letters to them, and so I knew these things, and I enjoyed participating in these things, having crushes, kissing. So I was already doing those things, touching. We used to call it smooshing. But then, yeah, I was already doing those things. But then no penetration, because I wanted my mind to be ready. I wanted to be mentally ready, emotionally. I don't something about me or something in me just knew that I had to be ready for this before I take the step. That's why I waited till I was 20. And if I tell you guys how I started to have sex, I'm going to make a video where I talk about that, but it was really, I would like to say stupid. It's really funny, stupid, but if you hear it, you're gonna laugh. I started to have sex when I was 20 with a guy that I was already dating 2 years prior to that year. So I started dating him when I was 18. And before I had sex with him, 2 years, I actually did not have the mind to actually have sex with him. But then I got to a point in my life where I needed to start experiencing sex for so many reasons, not just for the enjoyment of it, because I actually do really enjoy having sex, but for other reasons. Like I needed to, be exposed to that particular lifestyle so I could live or just survive. Let me say survive, not live. So I could survive. So I said to, have sex at the age of 20, still not knowing what sex means. I knew it was something that has to do with emotions. Like I said, I knew that it was something that is enjoyable, but then that comes with a certain result or a certain consequences. But I still did not know what the energy is, like the particular energy. I did not know what it is. So innocently, I went into having sex, and as soon as I started having sex at the age of 20, it was like, who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Your girl, I went crazy. This girl here, I went crazy. So everything that I have been accumulating from the very young age where I started knowing about sex, everything I've been, fantasizing about, imagining, everything, immediately I got exposed to it. I started experiencing them all. So like I said, I enjoyed the act of having sex. At the age of 20, when I started having sex, to the age of 27, 28, when I stopped having sex, my life for that short period of time changed. I got exposed to sex the same time when I got exposed to drugs. And I got exposed to so many other things that came with exposing your energy to the collective. Now, people do not know that we operate on energy. We do operate on energy. Everybody that you encounter in this life, or anything, not even anybody, everything you encounter with in this life is based off of energy. Energy is what is paving the ways. Energy is what is attracting these things to you and what is attracting you to them. So unless you guys are on the same frequency, you're not going to meet. So you only meet people that you are vibrating with, people that you are on the same plane of consciousness with. And it happens with energies. You see people that have high energy, they attract things that are on that particular energy, which are high vibrational things. And exposing yourself to the collective like that, where you start sharing your energy like that, like sexual energy with, like you start sharing your sexual energy with the collective, it exposes you to a lot, especially when you do not know that you possess this power. You can only speak for who you are. So if you're somebody that maybe you only have one partner that you have sex with, you do not know who they have sex with, and you do not know who they've had sex with. So whenever you have sex with somebody, there's an energy exchange. So the more people you have sex with, the more you're exchanging your energy with them, they're exchanging their energy with you. You guys switch energies, you move to the next relationship, the same thing. So you're either absorbing or you are giving out. Like you're either collecting or you're giving out. It is what is happening in a relationship. Once you are sexually exposed to this particular person, that energy is being, and the only way the energy exposure is on a very high level is when you guys have sex. Now, I did not know this. So for that 20 years to 27, 28, when I was having sex, I was exposing myself to so much that I did not know, and I was sinking. I will not lie, I was sinking. And it was so dark. Like, if I think about that period of my life, it was so dark where I was a slave to everything in life. Because once you are sexually exposed like that, and you're careless about your sexual energy, you will attract so much where this energy will bury you if you are not strong. And I will tell you that is what was happening in my life, because every other thing became like a god to me, and I was a slave to these things, a slave. And at the age of 27, when I started realizing that something wasn't right, like so much was eating me up, and I did not know what they are. Like, I could not pinpoint it. I could not like point my finger and say this is what was happening. Like, so much was eating me up and was messing up my life, and I was just, life became just too much. Honey, there are people that you're going to have sex with, and you tell yourself that, okay, this one is just going to be sex, and these people will have sex with you, and you become attached to them. You start asking yourself that what is happening. It will look like they're using juju. They're not using juju. There are people that are like that. You can be a girl, it can be a guy. It can be a boy, it can be a girl. There are people that you're going to meet in life, and you're just going to tell yourself that this is going to be sex. And trust me, once you guys have sex, that's it. Your life would take a different turn, and you see yourself doing things that you would not on a normal day do. It's because these people, their energy was stronger than yours, and they've been able to use it to like suck you into their life, and now they are in charge. They're in charge of you, they're in charge of your emotions, they're in charge of, and that is not a nice place to be in. So I was at that point in my life at the age of 27, but then that is not what I wanted in life. I remember very well that growing up, I wanted so much. Like, my name is Vivian, I'm full of life. So I wanted so much in life, and I don't know where I stopped wanting so much. I don't know when, I don't know when it happened, but at one point, it was like the Vivian that I wanted to be was gone, and all I could see, or like all I could experience, is what the world was telling me that I needed to be, what everybody else was telling me I needed to be. Like, I just saw myself being slave to almost everything. And that was the point where I got to, and I told myself, okay, I think it is time to change my life. I think it is time to see life from another aspect. Now, I did not come to that conclusion on the spot at the age of 27, 28. No. I feel like from the age of 20, when I started making a decision to be exposed to sex and to share my sexual energy the way I wanted to share it because I wanted to survive, I think from that point, I was already paving way to this particular life. In fact, everybody should know that your life is not a coincidence. Everything happening in your life is just unfolding. So it's not like it is happening out of nowhere. From the first day you stepped into this earth, this is something that you've agreed to experience, and that is how it is unfolding. So this is how my life was meant to go. But then at the age of 27, 28, something just came into my awareness that, I needed to change my life. And how do I need to do this? I needed to detox. And everybody know that you cannot detox properly, especially spiritually. You cannot detox properly until you stop sharing your sexual energy. That is the first stage of detoxing. Now, once you're able to even start the stage of detoxing sexually, you're going to find yourself physically detoxing from physical things, because it starts from that sexual energy, sharing that energy, giving it out without knowing who you're giving it to, just burying yourself in different people, or in just giving it out without knowing where it is going, is what is sucking the life out of you. And if you want to detox from life, you don't want life to suck itself out of you, if that makes sense. You have to stop sharing that particular energy. That's the first stage of detoxing. Now, this is me, this is what I think, this is what I know, because I've been experiencing it. Once I started to stop having sex at the age of 28, finally, every aspect of my life started blossoming. every aspect of my life, not physically, because physical is the last stage of the whole process. So mentally, you're going to start seeing things properly, understanding things the way you are meant to understand it as a goddess here on earth or as a god here on earth, experiencing itself. When you stop giving out your sexual energy, you're going to emotionally become stable, because emotions is how we get attached to people. Emotions is how we get attached to things. So once you're able to stop giving out your sexual energy, you're going to find yourself detaching from these other aspects, which is things, people, you're just going to become detached. But anyways, I was tired of being a slave, and because my life was meant to unfold the way it is unfolding, I got to the point where I told myself that I need to do something about my life. Like, I need to become passionate about life again. I needed to know life well from my own point of view. I needed to also know myself, okay, because all this why that all these other things were happening, I don't think I knew myself, because if I did know myself, I would have known the kind of jewel that I was, like jewel, like gold, like diamond that I was back then. But I didn't know these things. I was a slave, practically a slave to everything, people's opinion, validation, to men, to desires, to wants, physical one. I was a slave to limited beliefs. I was a slave to so many things. That was my life. I was practically a slave to these things, and I needed to not see myself with these things. I needed to detox from all of it. And how do I start? It's through sex. Sex was the first, that was what came to my mind. Like I said, my life was unfolding. So the knowledge I started having from the period of self-awareness, I don't know where it came from, but then I just suddenly did you hear me? Suddenly, I just suddenly started having these urges, these desires to do something different, be different, try something different, because it was obvious that the 27 years of my life wasn't working. Everything that I've learned, all the things that have been used to program me, they were not working, and I wanted something that works. So how do I find out something that works? Is by experiencing it by myself. So I went into the journey of abstaining from sex. I subconsciously started going into the journey. So like I said, it was not like I woke up one morning, I was like, okay, no more sex. No, it was like something that had to do with the mind first. So every time that I would be in a relation with someone intimately, and I'm with this person, I'm steady having this mind that, okay, I think I need to stop doing this, because no, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. Every time. Some of these times I'll be with this person and I will think, okay, maybe it's this person. Maybe I don't want sex with this person. I don't want emotional attachment with this person. Maybe I needed somebody else. And then I would try somebody else. I'll be like, no, this isn't it. Is it me? Is it me? Like, what's up? So it was like a mind thing. So yeah, it went from not liking sex with people, not understanding what it does with me and them, to realizing that, okay, I do not want to do this because it was obviously the root of my issues. And I needed to understand myself without, sex being involved. I needed to detach from that emotions that sex comes with, that desire, that urge, and especially the attachment that it comes with people. I needed to just detach. So I started telling myself, okay, subconsciously, I was like, okay, yeah, nah, I'll stop sex. I'll stop sex. Okay, I'll stop sex. And that is how gradually, I woke up one morning. I was like, okay, this is it. This is the first day that I am going to abstain from sex. And before you know, it's 3 months later, I haven't thought about sex. I haven't, been put in a situation where I want sex. 6 months later, the same thing. 9 months later, I meet somebody else. We have conversation, deep conversation, and I'm finding this person attractive. Like, I'm like, oh God, I want this person. I'm going to break my abstinence. I'm going to break my abstinence for this person. And I have this, intimate conversation, and we kiss. And suddenly, I become very distant. I become very, no, I do not want this. Like immediately after we kiss or have any form of like, interaction, become distant. And it's like, okay, no, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. And it happens like that before 1 year has gone, 2 years. And the more I go into this particular journey, the more every other aspect of my life becomes very solid. Every other aspect of my life become very firm, my mind is clear, my emotion is stable, I understand everything that I'm working towards or doing. Like, there's this aspect of me that I started getting to know that I now love more than sex. And this is the effect of abstaining. It's not a vow, okay? This is something that is happening to me consciously and subconsciously. So because I've been doing it for a long period of time, my body has become like, my subconscious mind has known this, and my subconscious mind is now more interested in knowing where all this energy is going to take me to, this energy that I'm using to work on the other aspect of my life, my creative aspects, my innovative aspects, because everybody has it, my innovative aspects, that's being resourceful, my every aspect. So my subconscious mind now, what it knows now is what this journey is going to do for us. Like, this is the norm for my subconscious mind. That's why I say my conscious and subconscious mind is working towards this. So consciously I started this whole process where I wanted to use the energy to work on my life, and I did it for a year, 2 years, and my subconscious mind is like, why didn't we know this? Why did nobody bring this particular knowledge to us? Because, honey, what I don't know how to put this, but what becomes of you when you have decided to use your sexual energy for your growth? What becomes of you is something that is dangerous to the society, something that is very dangerous to the system, because you're automatically placing yourself in a point where you realize how much every other thing is taking your energy but yourself. And once you get to that particular realization, you want to take back your energies and put them back to yourself. Work on yourself, see yourself without anything external, and love yourself without these things. It is something that is dangerous to the society, because the society cannot manipulate you, the system cannot manipulate you. You become your own person. You walk towards life with your own understanding, at your pace, slow, steady, fast. Anyone, you just walk towards life at your own pace. So it's something that is dangerous to the society, and that's what becomes of you when you stop using your sexual energy. Now, I'm not again telling you that this is from a general point of view. It's something I'm practicing. It's something that I have been seeing the results. Okay, I've been doing it for 3 to 4 years. Let's say 3 to 4 years, those numbers, and I've been seeing how well putting all this energy back to yourself, instead of finding happiness in orgasm with people, instead of finding happiness or satisfaction with how people make you feel, you find satisfaction with how you make yourself feel. You find companion in yourself. You find the relationship with yourself becomes so strong, and so the foundation is solid when you take all those energies, and you just turn them back around and place them on yourself for your own personal growth. It is a fucking solid foundation that I know people do not know about, and that's why I'm making this video, but it's something that people need to know about. Okay, if you're a lady out there, you are a guy, a whatever you are, transgender, whatever you are, sexual energy is really important. It's the most fucking important energy ever. And if there is any aspect of your life that you want to change, you have to start from within. Okay, if there's any aspect of yourself that you want to fully accept or understand, you have to start from within. And how do you start from within? Is by detaching from these emotions, this desire that controls you. You are ruled by desire. You're ruled by these urges, and every time you submit or surrender to these urges, you place yourself in a state where your energy can be sucked by whosoever is on that particular vibration. So you can say, okay, I'm having sex with this person, and this is the only person I'm having sex with because we are in an exclusive relationship. But you do not know that secretly they are doing something, or you don't know who they really are and where they spend their energy, like where they share their energy, who they share their energy with. You don't know these things. And energy is transferable. And that's something I got to learn on my journey. Energy is easily transferable, and the easiest way for you to transfer energy, which is the most strongest way, is sexually. Okay, and this is why at the age of 27, 28, I stopped having sex. I did not take a vow. I just consciously made a decision to stay away from that until I get to a point in my life where I feel like I am ready emotionally, let's start from spiritually, emotionally, mentally, that I am ready. Only then will I take the step, to satisfy any urge. But before then, I'm going to keep using the energy to change my reality to something I want. I'm going to keep using the energy to plant seed that I want to harvest in the future. And yeah, that is all about this particular topic. If you're somebody that's interested in knowing more about sexual energy, please let me know in the comment section. If you're somebody that is interested in knowing about how to go about abstaining from sex, also let me know, because honey, I'm going to share my step. There's steps to this thing. What to do when you get these urges, how to use it to do other things instead of focusing more on, having the urge being satisfied by somebody. What to do, I can share. If there's anything you want to know right now, let me know in the comment section, and I'll make a video. If it's something that I'm experiencing and that I am learning from, I'm going to share my 2 cents. Okay, but if it's something that I do not have any understanding about, I'll tell you in the comment section. I'll reply you. I'll tell you, oh honey, I don't know this, but then let's hope that's something I know. So thank you for watching. Like the video and let me know what you think about it. Are you going to start practicing this? Is there something that you want to manifest? Should I say manifest? Is there something that you want to create? Yeah, manifest. Is there something that you want to create and you feel like you're not being able to do it because of so many baggages? You should abstain from sex and see how those baggages become very light. There are other things that comes from staying away from sex. There are other things you're going to see apart from this your emotion being clear, your mental state being clear. There are other things that you're going to start seeing, and that is going to be on another video. Okay, so again, bye.